Hey, everyone. This is Carolee Moore, CEO of the Podcast Pitching Society, where we help experts just like you get found, chosen, and paid using strategic storytelling on other people's podcasts. Today, I'm coming through to talk about, I would say, I'm saying the quiet part out loud. Okay. We are just like 2 seconds away from December. We are in the middle of Q4. This is the time where people are either like already on vacation and already talking about 2026. That's going to be the year that they blow up, or folks are freaking out and trying to figure out how to close this year out with intention and to do it well. And maybe you're somewhere in the middle. I don't know, but I wanted to come on here, one, because the Profitable Podcast Pitch Kit is live today for everyone. I wanted to make sure that we broke down what's in the kit and all the things. But before we do that, I want to talk about something that's been on my mind and my heart, and also something I've been talking a lot about with my business friends and business buddies. And so I know that if we're talking about it, that y'all are also talking about it, but maybe the conversation hasn't necessarily gone far enough, and definitely not in the context of visibility. I think I've heard this conversation, what we're about to talk about, in the context of entrepreneurship, where I think a lot of people were online recently talking about they were lied to about entrepreneurship and how like it's super hard and it's nothing like what they thought it was going to be. And they left their 9 to 5 thinking, I'm going to go after my passion. I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to have some of my time back. I'm going to have like time freedom, and I'm going to do all the things, right? And then reality kind of smacked them in the face. I would say punch them in the gut, however you want it. Entrepreneurship is violent. Okay. It is also relevant, that same conversation, the same response I would have to that person is the same response I'm going to have for people who say they want to be more visible, who say they want more clients, who say they want to do more of the things that they're currently doing. They want more speaking gigs. They want to get paid more to speak, all of those things. Here is what a lot of those same people have in common. They're actually not willing to do the work to get the results that they say they want, right? So whether you're talking about entrepreneurship as a whole or you're talking about visibility, I have seen this be more than likely the biggest reason why maybe, and I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes, but maybe I am. Maybe it's a reason why you're not necessarily getting the kind of results that you say that you want. And I was stuck in this cycle as well. This is my second business for a reason, right? The first one is something I dreamt of doing, right? I wanted so badly to get to a certain level doing graphic design. I loved what I was doing with graphic design. I loved the agency. I loved the camaraderie and the team of it all. I understood and really, really respected other creatives. And so that was my dream business until my dream business almost killed me. But what I learned was it's not that you can't build a successful marketing, branding, business, agency, whatever you want to call it, right now. Matter of fact, I have a friend that I met while building this second business. She currently has a branding agency that is pulling in multi-six figures in this environment, in the environment where everyone is talking about AI building this, AI doing that. She's still being able to secure really large contracts with large companies to do brand work. And what I think she and everyone else who's decided, you know what, no, I'm not with the excuses. The thing that they have in common is that they put in the work to do it, right? They put in the work to do it. So whether you're talking about entrepreneurship, bringing it back, whether you're talking about entrepreneurship or visibility, one of the biggest things I see that is lacking is people's desire to actually do the work. No one is going to come and put into your lap, hey, here are some new clients. And if they do that, they're going to want something back. There's going to be some kind of, reciprocity needed. And it's probably not going to be advantageous to you in the end Typically, ain't nothing for free, especially not in business. And so when it comes to you saying you want more visibility, to what end? Do you want just to be seen? You want to be able to just be peacocking out for the people, for your friends, for your family, for whoever, to be like, oh, she made it. She's good. If that is what you want, then I'm sorry to tell you, you're probably not going to be successful in business long term. Why is that? Visibility for visibility's sake means that you're popular, but you're broke. And I'm sorry, I don't care if I'm popular, if I can't pay my bills. I don't care if I can't walk down the street without people asking me for my signature and doing all the things. If I literally am on the eviction line, about to get kicked out of my apartment or out of my house, I don't care. And I would venture to say most of you guys who are listening and watching right now, you also don't care about that. You're wanting real results. I got to tell you, real results come from real work. There is no shortcut. There is no getting around it. You see all them people that was selling get rich quick, hop on this lick, get this lick. All them people, for the most part, have either settled into, well, yeah, you gotta make this step, and then that step. They backtrack a little bit now to now they're selling like the real, or they're in jail because they were lying. Okay. Building anything takes time, it takes effort, it takes repetition, and it takes commitment. And this is coming from someone who had to learn that the hard way, right? You can have all the skills, all the knowledge, all the things, like the tangibles and the intangibles. You can have all of that and still not be successful. And those success is subjective, and you can kind of figure out what does success look like for you. Regardless of what it comes down to, it is connected to the work that you do. I'm not a part of grind culture where it's like you're white knuckling everything until you're like homeless on the street, and then you still trying to pop out and act like you're not living in your car. That's not what I am. I'm simply saying, do not expect things to be handed to you. And when we're talking about visibility, I'm really sick and tired of people just kind of thinking social media is going to come and somehow put on the cape and save your business, because you're going to make this one post and whoop, viral. Everybody in your mom is going to be like, oh, I absolutely need her. I need his. No, ma'am. Even if you're viral, what are you viral for? More than likely it's negativity, because that's most of the times of what goes viral. If you go viral and it's even something that's connected to your business, if you don't have the back end, if you don't have the systems, that's still not going to actually lead to real change in your business. If you're not ready, that could actually spell disaster. Okay. So when we're talking about visibility and do you actually want it, it's a real thing. I'll give you an example, and then I'm gonna head out because I have a sales call in like 30 minutes. The example that I'm going to give you is my business, right? I feel it in my gut, and maybe this is going to be a marker for next year. I feel it in my gut that 2026 is going to be an extremely transformative year for me and my business. I feel like I'm going to make the most money that I've ever made in my entire life in 2026. I feel like this business is going to 4-5x its revenue in 1 year, from this year to next year. Why do I feel that way? Because I am working my butt off in the background to ensure that. I'm putting things in place. The first thing I'm putting in place is me, my mind, how I see myself, how I see my business, how I understand growth. What are the things that I'm focused on and doing personally myself? What are the things that I'm delegating? What are the things that I'm paying other people to do because we got to go, right? Last year was the first year that I've ever invested in coaching in my life. And between last year and this year, it was a 3x year, probably more than 3x to be honest, from what we made in 2024 for what I made in 2025, in what the Podcast Pitching Society made in 2025, right? I saw that, and that was just from 1 year of being coached. we're moving into year 2 and then into year 3. For me, I'm looking at exponential. I'm trying to catch up to myself of where I know that I want to be in my life and what I want my life to look like. If your visibility goals are not tied to, yo, I'm willing to put in the work. When I get these eyeballs on me, I know what I'm about to do. The systems are back there. I'm set up. I know if you have an agency, I know that, okay, my current team can potentially handle maybe 4 more clients, 5 more clients before we're at capacity. But I already have and already interviewed at least 3 other people for each position. So I know if one of these things hit, if anything that I do that brings in more visibility actually hits and I get a whole bunch of new clients, I can rope in these people who are on the bench. I can rope them in and say, let's go. We got this. That is what I mean by the difference between you saying you want more visibility and actually doing the work to get it and doing the work to leverage it. That second piece is, I would say, especially for small businesses, because we see ourselves, and when we say small, we're not thinking small like I think it's 5 mil or under a year. We're thinking small as in, well, I ain't got nobody and, we're not really making that much money. So yeah, we're a small business. You're thinking of yourself as small, super small when you say small business. You're not thinking of, I want to grow. Yes, this is still, I think it's 25 mil, actually. That's a small business, which is wild. And so I could be a small business and not be like almost homeless. Entrepreneurship does not have to be that way. And if you're comfortable, meaning you have a full-time job or you have money from when you had a full-time job, and so you're chilling, I'm going to be honest, it's going to be really hard for you to leverage the way that you need to any new visibility, because it's going to take some hustle. It's going to take some hustle. This is not something that just kind of happens, right? And so I want to talk about within the kit itself that's tied to this is the topic sentences, the things that, or the piece of the pitch that talks about what it is that you do. Yes, Sarah. Because a lot of times people walk into the sentence and sound super, super basic, super vanilla, like, who are you, right? We oftentimes, I help, so like this, like basic, okay, cool. That's level 1. But you have to be able to then level 2, level 3, tell what is the transformation that you, because of what you do, the people that you help actually receive. And if you can go levels deeper than, I'm going to use Sarah because she's on it, than to say, I work in accounts receivable. I'm good with numbers. I can help your business. Okay, cool. That's cute. Sarah's tagline, because we work together with it, is that she is the revenue storyteller trademark. Don't try to steal it because she's already on that. That is telling someone already a few things. Obviously, you're all about the revenue. Like, she has the background to back it up. Clearly, I'm a professional in this sense. But then the storyteller piece adds a little intrigue. What does that mean? Like, I know what a storyteller is. What does this mean to this person? Now I'm intrigued. Okay. And then whatever the sentence now is going to say, I help you to understand what your numbers are actually, what is the story that's being told by the numbers within your business, right? Where are the actual gaps? Where is it screeching in pain right now? Where's your business really hurting? That's the biggest piece. And so you're wanting to make sure that particular sentence hits a little bit harder than the typical I help sentence. There's nothing wrong with that. But again, we're not selling this kit for you to be mediocre. I'm certainly not giving you this kit for you to sound like everybody else. So the idea here is, once you get the kit, to be able to craft a unique sentence. And we gave, it's like probably like well over 100 different options for the structure of that sentence, because we actually categorize it between if you're like super, super B2B corporate, whatever, if you are in the beauty space, if you're in like DEI or that kind of consulting space. There's a bunch of different options within that, just so we can help you kind of think through, okay, in my industry, like this is how I would want to frame this, give you some ideas, some words to play around with, but it's all you. And that's the power of really understanding and honing in on your pitch. Because when someone reads that pitch, and again, I talked about this yesterday, and I've said it in some of my social media posts as well. This pitch, if you actually take all of the pieces into consideration, can be used for a bunch of other types of pitches. So if you're pitching to speak at a conference, if you're pitching to be featured in a publication, whatever it is, you can actually use the same language, the same kind of structure to say, okay, I now understand how I want to frame what I do. I now understand how I want to frame what my unique kind of sauce is, my unique perspective is. I understand that. So I'm going to write this way across the board and see what that messaging does. Okay, great. Next month, I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna focus it here. And that's what the beauty of having this kit like allows you to do. So I'm super excited. This is the first day that is actually available to every single person, not just the folks on the wait list. And I'm very, very excited to see what people kind of come up with. I cannot wait to hear the results of like, hey, I used the kit and I was able to book so-and-so's podcast and whatever, and how many hundreds of thousands of downloads or whatever later. I'm very, very, very excited. That's the reason why we did this. I'm going to be super honest. That's one of the biggest complaints I got from a lot of podcast hosts is like, these pitches are so trash. Like verbatim, some of them said that. And I was like, okay, instead of me coming on here and complaining about it or talking about it and trying to get content overall, I just wanted to be a part of the solution. And so that's why we created what we created. So for the folks who actually get in, not just with the kit, because the kit's going to be available after Black Friday anyways, these bonuses, the reason why we put them in with the kit is because they help with everything after, right? So it's great that you get to pitch and you get on the show. What happens after? How do you prepare well for the show, right? How do you set up your background to make it look and feel a bit more, professional? Like, what do you actually say to turn it from just like a regular conversation to a sales conversation? What are hosts looking for when you show up on the show itself? What do you do afterwards to leverage it even more so? One of the bonuses is we're giving you a pretty comprehensive, and we actually have used that in the past. It's a comprehensive script that you can use for any AI, whether it's chat, why am I drawing a blank? On any of the other Claude, any of these other platforms, and create your social media content. But it's not just like one piece of copy and then everything else you can kind of use it for. No, this particular prompt gives it for each of the major platforms, and it tells it how to create it for each of the platforms. So it tells it long form for LinkedIn, more kind of story based, whatever. Pinterest is short. TikTok is short with a little bit of a kick, whatever. Like, it is good. Okay. And so you can create your entire social media content strategy like around that. And it's built around getting the transcript from either the reel or the entire episode that you're on for your podcast. So that's all you have to do is just put in the little piece of the transcript, and it takes that and creates a bunch of social media posts that is like unique to, and that's free. That's a bonus, y'all. That's not even a part of the kit. And you have that. So if you haven't gotten your kit yet, like, what are you waiting for? Last but not least, money is not an issue. If any of y'all that I ain't got the money out, we have the buy now, pay later options already in there. If you really, really, you go through that and it still is not helping you Klarna, Afterpay, all the things, DM me on any of the platforms, DM me, and we will work out a payment plan. I don't want that to be the reason why you're not actually taking advantage of this. So I'll say that and be done, because I got to go prep for the sales call, honey. This has been fantastic. And I would love to hear if you're still listening, whether this is live or the recording. I would love to kind of see your comments see your thoughts. Like, what are the things that you're going to try to overcome when it comes to doing the work for leveraging visibility, especially the stuff that you already have? I want to see that in the comments. I want to see what you're going to do. For me, I'm going to do a better job of telling people what the heck I'm actually offering. Yeah. All right. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.